Project, an initiative of Dr. Afi Banga in collaboration with Uyosima to assure the youth of Akwa Ibom and business support targeted towards moving the state from civil service state to a booming entrepreneurial state.
There was a Zoom meeting that Bank of Industry presented paper, his MD, and I made myself known on the platform. I didn't ask questions when it came to question and answering. I just made a comment. I said, Mr. MD, sir, I'm the president of your Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture. I realized that my people have to travel to Port Harcourt or Calabar to go and transact business with Bank of Industry. So when are you coming to Akwa Ibom State? Immediately I said that question. The facilitator that was monitoring who says what said, "Ma, that is not a question." The MD stepped in. He said, "No, let me talk to her. Madam, we are coming to Akwa Ibom State. We are talking to the state government. And I can proudly tell you all today that Bank of Industry's presence is here in Akwa Ibom State." Thank you to Professor and all what we are trying to do. Please, our young ones, come out of your comfort zone. Present yourself. We are here to network. We are here to connect. We want to bridge the gap between the governance and the government. You have to know what is happening in the state so that you can be part and parcel of it to make it work. We are here to work with the state government of Akwa Ibom State on the Arise agenda. Thank God for an active governor, which we have seen so far. So we need our support. We are here to work hand in hand. Akwa Ibom will not be known only as a civil service state. We want to be entrepreneurial. We have the technical know-how. We have brains. We have talent in Akwa Ibom. That's why we want to invest positively in our youth. And that's why we have the strategic entrepreneurship planning.
Speaking at the just concluded Akwa Ibom Youth Entrepreneurial Summit on Saturday, 15th July 2023 at Watbridge Hotels and Suite, the chairman of Happy Connect Limited and President Uyosima, Mrs. Afi Banga, said the summit was organized to...
On that note, distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, aspiring entrepreneurs, and fellow participants, a very warm welcome to the Akwa Ibom Youth Entrepreneurship Summit 2023. It is with great pleasure and a sense of honor that I stand before you as the president and chief host of this remarkable event. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for joining us today, most especially my husband, that has been the support, the backbone of what I'm doing. Thank you, sir. Today we gather here with a shared purpose to empower our youth and unlock their potential as entrepreneurs, innovators, and leaders. The theme of our summit, Empowering Youth Through Strategic Planning, encapsulates the essence of our mission. We believe that by equipping our young individuals with the necessary tools, knowledge, and resources, we can help them thrive in the ever-evolving business landscape. It is wisdom, courage, and endless determination that open our minds to new perspectives and change us as a person.
Better the lives of Akwa Ibom entrepreneurs. Mrs. Ekaitelma called on youth to aim for remarkable achievement and make strategic impact.
All right, this is a very special summit. It is dear to my heart because the youths are involved. When I say youth, I mean people who are 18 to 35. And I wonder, in 30 years' time, will any of these youth sitting here be able to point to something significant they have done because they attended today's event? Today's topic, the theme for today's summit is empowering youth through strategic planning. All right. But for me, I added something a little extra to that theme. I said to myself, you are empowered, you produce your strategic plan for your life and for yourself. Is it possible to plan that you will not just be one of the people or one of the youths of Nigeria, but that you will be empowered through the strategic thinking session that we have today to be a unicorn, to be something, to be somebody? What is a unicorn? A unicorn is a company that has a valuation of at least $1 billion. In Nigeria, I know about only 2 companies like that. But I want to use this opportunity to challenge the youth sitting here on this special occasion to plan to be one of those that will produce a unicorn for Nigeria. Is it difficult for a Kanban body work from Akwa Ibom State? So when you're here, be here. Listen. Take notes. But very importantly, take action thereafter.
Mrs. Umar challenged the young people to do something that gains both respect and achievement, emphasizing the importance of achievement over age.
None of the businesses I knew when I was growing up is there. Still exist. Will that be your story? That you were in Uyo at some point and there's no significant imprint of your existence? I'm certain that they didn't have the privilege of this session of strategic planning, because strategic planning is very important. It tells you where you're going to be in the next few years. In the next decade, the Japanese, they plan for 100 years. How many of us here plan for 3 years? If they had plans, they would have decided where they wanted to be, whether they would have grown bigger. I remember some very boisterous supermarkets that we had in those days. By the time I passed by those buildings, they were selling building materials in those spaces. Without a strategic plan, you can't be anything or anybody or significance. You can be anything or anybody, but not of significance. Everyone needs to do a SWOT analysis for your business and for yourself. If you're a youth, this is a perfect time to do it, so that you give yourself exactly where you're going to be.
In his keynote address, the economic advisor to Akwa Ibom State Government, Dr. Orabong Inam, expatiated on the issue of youth unemployment and emphasized the government's focus on promoting an entrepreneurial spirit for industrialization and wealth creation.
I'm representing the economic advisor to the state government. I was invited to look at the theme of today's seminar or stroke workshop, and I was quite pleased about the fact that we were targeting the young people. People are worried that too many of our young people are waiting for some form of employment, mostly with government. Too many or too few are looking to do something for themselves and create some employment for themselves and for other people. So the first part of my talk will be government talk. I put it that way, government talk. I'll outline what this new government has as a plan for the young people, as a plan for empowering young people and women, as a plan for creating entrepreneurship spirit in our people. The second part of my talk will focus on strategic planning, because I've written a few strategic plans myself, and so I understand what strategic planning is all about, and the fact that strategic planning is critical if you are going to be successful.
Mrs. Inam, represented at the event by Professor Okon Ansa, outlined a point of the Arise agenda covering various areas such as agriculture, infrastructure, and economic advancement, while advancing the provisions of Aspiration 2 of the agenda as a component to directly address the issue of youth empowerment.
So let me start by saying that I'm delighted to be among you today to discuss the empowerment of youth through strategic planning, and I stress strategic planning. The government of Akwa Ibom State, under the leadership of His Excellency Pastor Moino, has made empowerment of youth a cardinal objective of his administration. And as you're well aware, he has outlined the vision of Akwa Ibom State and the youth, and his economic blueprint is documented in a document that he calls the Arise Agenda. I'm sure you've been hearing that pushed in the media. Now, the blueprint agenda seeks to consolidate on the economic gains of previous administrations while expanding the frontiers of the state economy. It has the vision to create a vibrant, inclusive, diversified, and highly industrialized economy with lifelong opportunities that engender improved social welfare conditions and a more broadly shared prosperity. Not broadly shared prosperity. Because I worry about a system where some people are extremely wealthy, live really big, but the vast majority are barely surviving. And unfortunately, if we're not careful, that's where we'll end up. We're already headed there, where you have some people that live really well as they can live anywhere else in the world, but you see that the vast majority of the people barely get by from day to day. So clearly, government needs to put in place policies that begin to move more and more people towards the center. Because now, the middle class is almost disappearing. You have the people who really have lots of money, and then you have those that don't have at all, or barely have, and then the middle is almost empty. We've got to move the people on this side this way, reduce the amount people here have, and move more people towards the center. That's the only way to run.
Goodwill messages were presented.
I'm delighted to be here today because we are talking about development in our country. And there is no way we can talk about development without standards. If we really want to compete favorably with any country in the world, you want to rub shoulder to shoulder with the international community, then you must understand standards. The only way we can beat or compete with the international community is when we key in to the international policies on standardization. And that is why it is very important that you get closer to Standards Organization of Nigeria. The youths that are here today, please, it is an opportunity for you to be here with the captains of industries. Seize that opportunity to develop yourselves, meet with the relevant agencies, get contacts, get addresses.
My name is Dr. Nabo Masim, as has been introduced. I work in the private sector directorate of the ECOWAS Commission. Now, I am happy that I saw UB Brima here as a logistics company that talks about the continental free trade area. Madam Che talked about the unicorn. You cannot be a unicorn if your market is Akwa Ibom State. Forget it. If you want to be a unicorn, you have to think beyond borders. And I'm happy we are going into strategic planning today. Your goal has to be big, has to be huge. So as you are starting today as an entrepreneur, don't just think about your village or Akwa Ibom State. Plan for beyond Akwa Ibom, beyond Nigeria.
On behalf of the management of the Bank of Industry, I want to say a big thank you to USIMA. We are a bank established by the Federal Government of Nigeria. We've been around for a while, since 1959. And we've gone through some metamorphosis internally, from the old NIDB to currently Bank of Industry. Our business model is to support the youths, the women. You know, we have 3 robust business directorates: the micro enterprises business directorate, the small and medium enterprises business directorate, and of course the large corporate enterprises business directorate. And so we are always very, very happy when we see institutions either owned by government or private individuals that also focuses on how to empower the youths. We were to talk on empowering the youths through strategic planning. And if you look at that word, there's a concept of empowerment, which I think all of us should understand what it means. There is also a concept of youths, and how do you define youths? And of course, lastly, how can BOI support that agenda? The world population, the world is about 8 billion people today. 8 billion. In the midst of the challenges, people are procreating. Because the average population size, average population age rate in Nigeria is sub 20. On average, it's about 18.6 on average in Nigeria today. And that is the age of procreation, between that age and 40. So those who are studying the demography and looking at the trend, they are very correct. We're going to hit it. There's no two way about it. If only there's a catastrophe, which you don't pray it will happen. So what is empowerment? Empowerment. In my place, these boys will tell say, okay, empower us now. Empowerment is power given to someone to do something. That power can be given to you. You can also collect it yourself. So as a youth, because of the size you have, you can actually hold that power and demand it. So individuals are given empowerment to create their own dwellings. The process of becoming stronger and more confident, especially in controlling one's life and claiming one's rights, and of course, building your own life the way you want it, is also a cause of empowerment.
Roy Disney, the creator of Disney, says, when your values are clear to you, making decisions become what? Easy, however painful.
My name is Helen, head of NISA, like he has said. I am delighted to be here because whenever we are talking about the youth, you know, it is a very, very important thing. They are the future leaders. And we say it like a cliche, but it's not a cliche, it is just the truth. And we say it because if we do not focus on it, then there is a tendency to derail from it. And strategic planning is very key. And I would take it from a personal perspective, because if you don't have a strategic plan for yourself, you're most likely not to have one for a business. Whatever you cannot apply to yourself, you'll not be able to apply it to an entity. So if you have a strategic plan for yourself, it will help you to stay focused.
The summit featured guest presentations by the head Institute for National Transformation, Akwa Ibom State University Professor Vincent Anigbogu.
A person that lacks conviction has no weight in life. There must be things in your life that you stand for and ready to die for. No money can buy it. If you don't have that thing, you have not started to live. Albert Einstein said, try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become what? A man of what? A woman of what? What do you value in life? So what am I trying to say? Besides going into business, go into business with conviction, because there's a value you want to sell to the nation. Value of integrity, value of responsibility. By the way, value is what sustains business through of us. If you cheat me today, will I come tomorrow? But if you treat me well and you're kind to me, if I need that thing, will I come to you? Now, what is bringing me back to you? Your value. What am I telling the youth? Your primary responsibility is to become a person of value. And whatever skill you have, if you combine that with your value, you will succeed. Am I communicating? Yes.
Presentation by the Chief Executive Officer of Smile Home Nigeria, Engineer Unyeme Udotai.
2008, I had the privilege to decide whether to go for youth service or to go for an entrepreneurship training with one of the people that were commanding authority as far as business is concerned in Lagos. His name was late, Dr. Sonyo Jabese. I was in between, should I go for youth service or should I go for this training? And I didn't send myself to school. You know who sent me to school, right? So where do you think they will stand? Youth service or, yeah? Where? This side and this side. Okay, so they will want me to go for youth service, but like Prof has already said, my mind had already been tempered with because of some of the books I read, and I knew, yes, you studied engineering, but that's not the path. So I decided to sneak with a night bus to Lagos for that 3 weeks training. And in those 3 weeks, my mind was shaped, and I made up my mind that if there is anybody that is going to succeed excellently, outstandingly, as far as planet Earth is concerned, from my family, from my region, it's going to be Udotai.
Justice on topical issues was done to the satisfaction of all who attended the summit by panel session guests including Professor Asikbo Essien, Mr. Ruben Tamba, African Continental Free Trade Area ACFTA, Mr. Kingsley Ekwere, Mrs. MM Ibok, State Coordinator, Technology Incubation Center, TIC, Mrs. Iniebong El Shaddai, Mrs. Susan Okwabasi Uyosima, and Prince Omar Moses all. The Cradle TV crew had a one-on-one interview with the following participants at the event. A top-notch training facility, Jodam, is in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital, with international certifications and general courses. Learning happens like language training, IELTS, Mandarin, etc. The founder of the firm has this to say.
My name is Engineer Dr. Antonio Akadi, the MD of Jodam Engineering and HSC Systems Limited. Well, we are unique. First, we look at the excellence in terms of all activities. We actually roll out these organizations as an engineering outfit to see how we can provide support to the states and some other organizations in terms of engineering constructions, trainings, and also at the lower scale, see how we can provide some developmental opportunities for our youth and organizations that are willing to engage their states in terms of social corporate responsibilities, and that we've been doing greatly. Okay, currently we've done a couple of training for the communities. We actually engage them or support them in terms of those that are students. We actually open up an opportunities for the internships. In our time we roll out some work support exposures for them, so that we've been doing very good in terms of this. And we believe that as we are growing up, we should be able to do much more, where we can extend to outside the environment that we operate. That is, of course, and we've known that as far as the Arise agenda is concerned, developmental stride will be sustained. And when we talked about development, we not only will key in terms of the developing with the state, supporting them in terms of procurement, engineering support, studies, and also the aspects of training. We've made a couple of proposals, and we believe that that will show up someday, and we'll be able to get that done. And we'll have special interest in terms of the environmental support aspect of the states, which we know that we can improve upon. Yes, like I said, as far as we operate here, and we really appreciate the Arise agenda and all that it comes with it. We have the expertise, we have our partners in and outside the countries, and they are readily available to support all the initiatives that will be given an opportunity to showcase. The message to the state is very clear. The state is built by people. the previous administration did greatly, and here we have another one that is coming in. We believe that jointly we'll be able to do better than the previous ones in terms of the key aspect of this. And I use this opportunity to welcome His Excellency, Pastor Mono and his team, and just want to encourage them to believe in terms of our locals, our engineers, and other support professionals. We are there for them, and we definitely will go extra miles to make sure that the organizations and the state succeed in all the developmental aspect that they showcase. Okay, that's a good one. As we stand, I'm the state coordinator for the Institute of Safety Professionals of Nigeria, and we're also a member of emergency organizations for the states. So currently, we know that there is going to be a change. We've engaged the organizations, and we've seen that we're not actually having a very good safety records, and we're ready to partner with them to see what we can do in terms of improvement opportunities. We want to see where those incidents that occur in the states will be minimized by trying to roll out some of the safety management systems, which we believe the executives and the team will be able to adopt that. We're trying to engage, and we put ourselves down to see how we can improve in this aspect of it. We want to see a situation that Akwa Ibom State will be very good in terms of emergency response and management, will be very good in terms of managing our assets, where most of these fire incidents that that showed up in the past should not be there, or should be minimized in terms of it occurring, if we'll be able to get people to join hand with us to understand the aspect of safety practices that should be adopted, so that this will help in eliminating most of those exposures. Okay, the very first thing is we've been planning and expecting approval of the long expected safety commissions. Like the Cross River State, they have it. We expect our own should be out soon. It's not just about the law. Are we willing to make sure that we adopt those laws? Are we willing to make sure that even if we come in, encouraging to comply, we'll definitely do that. So we will encourage the state executives to ensure that that safety commission is out soon, and we should be able to do better than what we've done today in terms of compliance with the laws. Some of the laws are there, some will definitely we put in place. For example, we don't need a special another law to encourage organizations to work safely or to investigate incidents. We have laws already. We have Factory Act and other laws. It's just to make sure that we align ourselves to that, and that's what we've been doing. We've been engaging them, and we'll continue to do that.